Hello, and welcome. Tonight, I want to invite you into a world of brilliant light and deep shadow, of roaring crowds and profound solitude. We're going to explore one of the most treasured poems in Chinese literature, Xin Qiji's Green Jade Cup, written for the magnificent Lantern Festival.
So before we break any of this down, before we analyze a single word, I think it's important to just listen. Let's just sit with the poem and hear its music in the original Chinese. 东风也放花千树，更吹落星如雨。宝马雕车香满路，凤箫声动，玉壶光转，一夜鱼龙舞。而雪柳黄金缕，笑语盈盈暗香去。众里寻他千百度，蓦然回首，那人却在灯火阑珊处。
Okay, now let's begin to peel back the layers, line by beautiful line. The poem opens with 东风夜放花千树，更吹落星如雨. In English, a poetic reading would be, the east wind at night blossoms 1,000 trees of light and shakes down a shower of stars. And right away you can feel it, can't you? This isn't just a description. The poet is showing us an entire world being transformed by magic.
So, when he says 1,000 trees of flowers, he's not literally talking about a forest. It's a metaphor, a powerful one. I mean, can you just picture it? An entire city, every street, every alley, packed with lanterns, so bright they look like a forest has just burst into flames overnight. And that shower of stars? That's the fireworks, raining down sparks on the celebration below.
So, from that big wide shot of the sky, the poet brings our focus right down to the ground, to the street level, with this line, 宝马雕车香满路. Fine horses, ornate carriages, their fragrance fills the roads. We are pulled right into the thick of it all, surrounded by the sights and the smells of wealth, of celebration, of constant motion. It's so vivid you can practically smell the expensive perfumes wafting from these carriages as they go by.
And this is what I find so brilliant. The poet is creating this complete sensory overload. It's intentional. He's not just telling you what's there, he's pulling you in so you can feel it all. The blinding lights, the smell of perfume, and, as we're about to see, the sounds. It's meant to be chaotic, overwhelming, and absolutely beautiful.
And just listen to how the energy builds right here. It's like a crescendo. Feng Xiao Sang Dong, Yu Hu Guang Zhuan, Yi Ye Yu Long Wu. The sound of phoenix flutes stirs, the light of the jade pot lamp turns, and all night the fish and dragons dance. So now, the air is thick with music. The light is shifting. Maybe it's the moonlight. Maybe it's the glow from thousands of lamps. And everywhere you look, huge fish and dragon lanterns are just weaving through the streets. The whole world has become this swirling, non-stop carnival. And now, it's like the poet's camera suddenly zooms in, right into the crowd, focusing on the people. 而水流黄金路，笑语盈盈暗香去. Moth ornaments, snow willows, threads of gold. With graceful laughter and a faint fragrance they pass by. He's describing the women in the crowd, all dressed up with these beautiful, elaborate hairpins. They're laughing. They're part of the spectacle. But here's the key thing to notice. They are passing by. They're part of the beautiful scenery, for sure, but they aren't who he's looking for. And then, bam, this next line changes everything. The whole mood of the poem just pivots on this single phrase. 众里寻他千百度. In the crowd, I searched for them 1,000 times. All of that incredible spectacle we just saw, the lights, the sounds, the perfumes, suddenly, it's just background noise. In fact, it's more than that. It's become an obstacle. Because the poet has just revealed his true mission. He is looking for someone.
And that number, 1,000 times, is so important. This isn't a literal count, of course. It's an emotional one. It's that feeling of an endless, almost desperate search. He's looked everywhere, through every joyful face, under every bright light, again and again. You can feel the exhaustion, the hopelessness setting in. The grand scale of the festival now feels like a weight, hiding the one thing he truly wants to find. And then, after all that searching, all that chaos, comes the turning point, the climax of the entire poem. 蓦然回首，那人却在灯火阑珊处. Suddenly, I turned my head, and there they were, in the place where the lanterns were few and dim. You see, after all that frantic searching forward, the answer comes from a simple, sudden turn of the head. It comes from looking back. And the person he's been searching for isn't in the middle of the party. They're at the very edge of it, where things are quiet and fading.
And this is the heart of the poem, right here. This incredible contrast. The first part of the poem builds up this world of more lights, more noise, more people. But the answer, the real meaning, is found in a world of less light, less noise, less motion. That whole spectacular festival was just the setup to make us understand the quiet, profound importance of this one person who is standing completely apart from it all.
So this leads us to the big question, right? The one that has kept people talking about this poem for centuries. Who is the one in the shadows? The poem's real genius is that it never tells us. It's in that ambiguity that we find its incredible power. That person is a symbol with layers and layers of meaning.
Well, people have wrestled with this for centuries, and generally, there are three powerful ways to look at it. First, maybe that person in the shadows is the poet himself, a kind of self-portrait. Second, maybe it's not a person at all, but a political ideal, a lost dream. And third, maybe it's a universal idea, that the figure represents whatever it is we search for with our whole being.
Now, to really get that first idea, you have to know a little bit about the man who wrote it, Xin Qiji. See, he wasn't just some scholar sitting in a library. This man was a soldier, a patriot. He fought to take back his homeland from invaders. But the government, well, they were more interested in parties and temporary peace. He was sidelined, his passion ignored. When you see it that way, the poem becomes this powerful statement about his own lonely integrity, standing apart from a world he saw as distracted and frivolous.
And that brings us to what might be the poem's most profound truth, the one that speaks to all of us. I mean, think about it. How often do we do this in our own lives? We look for happiness, for meaning, for purpose in all the bright, loud, flashy places, the places society tells us to look. And maybe Xin Qiji is telling us that sometimes the real answer, the real thing we're looking for, is only found when we finally turn away from all that noise and look into the quiet, overlooked corners.
You know, this idea is so powerful that a famous literary critic, a man named Wang Guowei, actually used it to describe the very nature of genius and achievement. He argued that reaching any kind of greatness in life happens in 3 stages, and he believed this poem perfectly captured the third and final stage.
He said the first step is having a big ambition. The second is that long, agonizing struggle. You know, the 1,000 searches. But that final stage, the breakthrough, it's not something you can force. It's that sudden aha moment, that revelation that comes only after you've practically given up. It's the discovery that the answer was never in the complicated chaos, but in a simple, quiet truth that was there all along.
And so, in the end, the poem kind of turns the question back on us, doesn't it? It echoes down through all these centuries and asks us to look at our own lives, at our own frantic searches in this noisy, distracting world. So, I'll leave you with this. What have you been so frantically searching for in all the dazzling lights that might just be waiting for you, quietly, in a place where the lanterns are dim?